The way the Chinese government does international business is supremely underhanded. And I'm
Mm.
saying that as a person that is fully aware of Western neo-imperialism practices, and that
Mm.
is why a lot of American companies have effectively stopped doing business at scale, despite the fact that it's still the largest, most emerging market still. It is like a gold mine from that perspective. So why would a US company want to pull out of that? It's because they go over there and they have to have this subsidiary that's majority Chinese owned, and then the Chinese government steals all of their stuff, and then they make their own versions of that,
And then
and then
kick
they
them
kick them
out.
out. And the United States just finally decided to say, like, we're not going to allow that to continue in the way that it's happening. So this is like the first blow, and I don't think that it's a bad one. I actually thought that the Chinese government will fold. I'm actually surprised they
Yeah.
haven't.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Supreme Court has made the decision yet, but this says that it looks like they are likely to uphold.
As in, will go through with the ban.
Yes.
Damn, that's actually gonna be crazy, really. If TikTok gets banned on some dictatorial China government, because that's like China shit. Like you land in
Yeah.
China and none of your apps, all your apps stop working. It's the craziest shit ever. Like I had a stopover and everything on my phone stopped working. Couldn't text nobody, couldn't DM shit, nothing worked. Yeah, I guess America said, well, yeah, we can play that game.
Oh, we lost
Oh,
out.
damn, China took him out. That's fucked
I
up.
know, right? Boy, she got a little too dangerous. We'll see if
Shit.
they're gonna take me out next.
Tell them the truth.
Yeah, but the thing about it is like I was saying, like they are leaning more towards sticking through with it unless
Mm.
something else happens. But the crazy thing is like as far as like the voice of the people, I saw like a poll of like I think it's like 45% are in support of banning TikTok, and then there was like 36% was like in favor of keeping it, and then like there was that other like subset that was just like I don't know. I'm on the app sometimes. I really don't feel one way or the other.
Actually, honestly, I haven't used TikTok in years. Now that I think about it, I don't.
Really?
Yeah, no, I haven't been on there in forever. Yeah, I just think I don't know. I've been increasingly like IRL touching grass type shit over the past
Oh, I
little
see you, my
while.
nigga.
So yeah, I'd be baking bread and planting snap beans and stuff. That's the main thing that I get. I chop wood and shit. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
doing real nigga
yeah.
shit. I'm not. Yeah,
Real man
not
in the
trying to.
weirdness type activity.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm trying to learn how to build houses and shit. I'm, fixing little like I see a bird with a broken wing. I'm trying to learn medicine. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not in that internet shit no more.
But see, you could be making TikToks of you being out in the out touching grass, my nigga. Like blow the fuck up, make some money, nigga.
That's like sucking dick about
Capitalism,
virginity.
baby.
Like I don't know. I'm not trying to do all that.
This Eddie Overgold been there, done that. That's what he
Yeah.
really want to say. He's like
Yeah.
he's like I know I can do that whenever I feel like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going viral is a natural thing for him.
I stay viral. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I gotta be on prep just regular to just keep myself from going viral at any given time. So that's me, and I'm trying to live life. So yeah, I haven't really been on TikTok, but that doesn't mean I don't want people to have it. Because that shit is crazy. But so 45% of the American populace is in favor of banning it. What's the word on the streets in terms of like, have you met them, this 45%, or like anybody who's kind of on that
Yeah,
side?
your boy is really out here in the streets like that, man. All 44% of these niggas who was like, yo, nah, fuck TikTok.
He's
bro,
doing
like, get it
street
out of here.
interviews. He's like,
Right.
so what do you
You
think about
joking, but I feel like Josh the most on the street person on this podcast. If anybody knew what the average person thinks about some shit, it would be him.
His finger on the pulse, man. His finger on the pulse.
Right there.
24/7,
Beep, beep.
365.
That's what we call him.
Yeah,
BPM
but
Josh.
I guess like the thing of it is the general idea behind like I guess like why a lot of these people is just in support is due to this is government owned a China owned company
That's a
that
good
doesn't
point,
have
to be
anything
fair.
to do with like the US, which fair, good point, but it's like okay, China's just doing the same shit that our government would be doing or does to us. It's just from a different country.
So I will say
I'm in that. That is a pretty convincing argument.
I mean,
to be honest.
how good is
I will
our
say
government?
this.
And how is our government doing good for us?
So I will say this.
Okay, he will say this. Say it.
Yes, say that shit.
The way and I don't think a lot of people understand this. The way the Chinese government does international business is supremely underhanded. And I'm saying that as a person that is fully aware of Western neo-imperialism practices, and how all of that is played out for um basically since all of those countries have existed.
Sure. That's what countries
But
do, the successful ones.
yeah, but the way the Chinese government works with foreign companies is that you effectively have to have a arm of that company that exists in China that is majority owned by the Chinese government if you want to do business there. That is why a lot of American companies have effectively stopped doing business at scale, despite the fact that it's still the largest, most emerging market still, even all these decades later after its like initial like arrival on the scene. It's still a market that any company on
Because they're getting richer, like they're
paper,
populous, right?
exactly, they're huge,
Yeah.
and they're getting richer. So it is like a gold mine from that perspective. So why would a US company want to pull out of that? It's because they go over there and they have to have this subsidiary that's majority Chinese owned, and then the Chinese government steals all of their stuff, and then they make their own versions of that,
And then
they
kick
kick
'em
them
out.
out. So
Yeah.
so the reaction to TikTok and what the spin that the government is putting on it is the security thing, which is, I think, hollow, because to both of your points, I think that's stupid, because the United States government does that same thing to the populace as well.
No, I wasn't saying that was
but
stupid. I was saying that makes sense to me. But continue.
What I'm saying is that it's stupid for the government to do it. I don't think that. I think it's stupid when they could really just say that we're just playing the same game that they're doing. We're trying to save footing. We're trying to save footing in a international commerce market because they've been playing dirty. And there are often things in that situation that are a bit less founded than the way they do business. So, for example, the currency manipulation aspect of it. But the Chinese government plays extremely dirty from that perspective, and the United States just finally decided to say, like, we're not going to allow that to continue in the way that it's happening. So this is like the first blow, and I don't think that it's a bad one. I actually thought that the Chinese government will fold. I'm actually surprised they haven't.
And I so, like, to clarify what I was getting at, and then address what you said. For a government to say you can't spy on our people the way that we can, to me, I'm not saying it's ethical, but makes complete sense to me as a thing that any country would do. Like, that's fine.
So
Like,
the reason
it's not crazy. That makes sense. Like, it's a
the reason why I think it's dumb. The reason
Okay.
why I think it's dumb for them to take that approach is because the only thing that elicits is the response that we all had in response to that.
Right. It's a bad marketing ploy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
People are just going to say,
Understood.
"Well, you're spying on me too." Like, it doesn't suit the
It doesn't
purpose
work.
that they're trying to suit.
Okay.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying.
And
Yeah,
then
because I'm thinking
then
that's fine. Like, not fine, but like, I get it. But I see what y'all are saying. It's not a good marketing ploy to the American people. Which I feel like when I'm seeing all of these hearings, I feel like one of the things that's seems very part of this whole reaction is if the American private sector and the government as a tool to protect that is going, we don't want this Chinese company, this foreign company operating in our country, especially when we can't properly operate in theirs and have them as one of our dominant social media platforms. When Facebook, Meta, none of that is really operating there fully or at all, really. That seems pretty fair to me, but it seems like the best marketing tool from like the Chinese side is kind of co-opting like the legitimately existing like racism and xenophobia of America as like a way to sidestep any legitimacy in argument. You know what I mean? Like, y'all are being racist and xenophobic against this other country for like, they're invading us, but it's like China is like one of the most powerful superpowers on the planet. Like, that game doesn't make sense to me. And so if you go, and it's the same thing when these hearings against Facebook were happening, where we try and so many people are convinced by any argument that goes, look at this government stooge trying to regulate a company. What a fucking dickhead. Instead of being like, yeah, the private sector is fucking evil too. And like, this guy they tried to frame, sorry, I'm rambling here, but they tried to frame it as if like the federal judge or whatever was like confusing whether or not this Singaporean CEO was
Cotton
Chinese.
interview. I remember that. Yeah,
and I'm
the Cotton
like,
interview.
wait a second, like y'all are.
He's like, no, I'm Singaporean. That wasn't what he was asking. Like he was trying to get at a very specific point. And I don't even like Cotton. I'm a Cotton hater. Yeah. I'm a Cotton hater. I think he's a dumbass.
Be evil, but people like the way that they like. Fucking, what do you call it? AstroTurfed it as if this was like the American government being their usual racist, hick hillbilly, can't tell Singaporeans from Chinese. First of all, he was Chinese Singaporean, as far as I can fucking tell. So, and two, it doesn't matter whether or not his nationality isn't Chinese if he has a allegiance to a particular government, and that's a fair question, which they tried to get an answer to. That's totally fucking relevant. And then it's like, oh no, I'm Singaporean. That's not what he asked. And you're trying to frame it as like, oh, he's racist and confusing you for a Chinese person. It's like, can we? Which is smart.
Which is smart on the Tencent end.
It's worked very well for Tencent. But it's like China and Singapore are two major, massive fucking powers, and Singapore is like, it's the capitalist fucking neoliberal like mecca. Like, what are we talking about? Like, they're good guys. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, if the U.S. government is saying, hey, if this major company that exists in America is going to exist in America, you have to, they're going to call me Eddie Trump after this episode, but like if you're saying after this situation, you have to sell us, the wing of the government will keep operating TikTok. It just cannot be owned anymore by Tencent, or you leave. And we have Instagram Reels. That's fair.
It's also very much in line with how the Chinese government allows foreign companies to operate in China. Yeah. Again, I don't know if people know that or not, but that is how that operates. And again, companies tried to sidestep that with like, what was it? With like the stripped down versions of like Android that were being pushed and all that kind of stuff. Like that has not worked. The Chinese government will again own these apps and again make their version of it still strip. Like, there are companies in their 10K that were still operating in China that had write-downs in the billions based on intellectual property theft from just trying to do business in China. Specifically,
the shit gets stolen, they get kicked out. Yeah.
And that's why. And again, that's why those companies just say it's not even worth it for us.
Yeah. So I'm like this all of this game of like, yeah, because I feel like China for a lot of people is like, I feel like people don't. It's almost like, I'm not finna say reverse racism. What is it? It's fucking. It's almost like reverse racism. It's not. No, what it is I feel like people are confusing the fact that Asian Americans, including but not limited to Chinese Americans, have historically been oppressed in America, and they're confusing that with the economic powerhouse that is the nation of China now. And because because Americans are so like zoomed in like this, they don't understand. I think some don't understand.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm so with you.
Like, we're talking like it's the same as if we were talking about the UK, or if we were talking about like, this is just a powerful nation that has spies and governments and tanks and all the same evil shit as America, doing their same evil shit. Racially, yes, in America, Asian folks are oppressed. That's a different thing than the power that a nation has. And I feel like we're struggling as an American populace to distinguish those two, because we don't understand that identity politics is a framework for interpreting privilege in a social context, not a way for like assigning power based purely on phenotype. That's not how that works. So yeah,
this nigga is spitting tonight, man. This is a Alvin Eddie.
We linked in right now. You know what I'm saying? We are hiring. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'll say, like, I landed in the Guangzhou airport. My whole phone shut down. Couldn't get on WhatsApp. Couldn't get on Instagram. Couldn't get on Facebook. Couldn't do shit. Couldn't message anybody. And this was just a holdover. I was there for like 6 hours on the way to another place. And I was just cut the fuck off from everything. The internet, when I tried to get on shit, couldn't get on Google, nothing. So it's like,
and again, they have these super apps that only work in the context of their country because they stole all the best aspects of those apps and like put them together in one super app.
Yeah, because you're talking about WeChat and that environment.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot more sympathy for a country being like, no, if you want to operate in our country, you can't be attached to a company that is beholden to be primarily owned by another government that we're not quite allies with. That's very regular, normal way to run an economy. That to me.
And the only thing I'm gonna roll back is I'm not in favor of the ban, but people kicking it to but that's the only caveat. But everything that Eddie has said ultimately comes down to, I think that it's ridiculous that people see this as something that is extremist and not the way the game is played. Because again, this is how China plays the game.
People just like TikToks, which is fair enough.
Yeah, I understand that people don't fully understand that, because a lot of people don't understand the geopolitical context of what that does. A lot of people have not had Eddie's experience from a Chinese perspective. A lot of people have not even studied that, so they don't know. And all they see is, you're taking away my TikToks. And again, I don't even think that they should take away your TikToks, but I don't think that it's a unreasonable thing for them to play the game that China's playing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all
look,
I'm saying.
I think the ban to me felt like a nuclear, and then we can move on to other shit. But like, I feel like the ban felt like a nuclear option, which is that it's like, to me, it feels like trust busting. This is a company that is too big to be properly regulated by the government of the country it's operating in. So here's what you need to do: you need to restructure. It happened to fucking Bell South and all that kind of shit.
It happened to Microsoft.
It happened to Microsoft. And so you go, I was just thinking about the Bill Gates shit. It's like they did that there too. You have to sell off your holdings. Cool. And if you don't, then you got to disband entirely. Get the fuck out of the country. That's what are we talking about? So the ban is like, TikTok had the option to sell off their American holdings and go, cool, operate here. And we're no longer Tencent. Y'all don't have any control. Y'all have no connection to China at all. And they said no. So cool, y'all are banned. I guess my question to you would be, what should they have done if you're kind of like so on the ban aspect?
The only reason why I'm so on the ban thing is just because I think that it's gamesmanship. I don't think they actually wanted to ban it. They thought they would fold.
Yeah.
I truly thought it was a brinkmanship, like, American argument. I think it was, we both got guns pointed at it. Well, I got a gun pointed at you. You're not gonna do what I say. You gonna let me shoot you? You gonna let me shoot you?
Damn.
Like, I don't. Yeah.
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 Damn, that's crazy. Yeah.
Damn, we really shot this motherfucker. Why would China do this? You know what I mean? Like,
But yeah, because I feel like now with shorts and reels, it's gonna be
as much as like. But my whole thing with reels is, when you really think about it, man, reels best stuff is really just TikToks at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't checked reels in ages either, but yeah. Well, yeah, that is what it is. They gonna call me Capitalist Eddie after this shit. Sorry, folks, but that's where I'm at. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag. That's crazy. They were waving the red flag too. This podcast is brought to you by the People's Republic of China. I'm your boy Eddie. This is Josh. This is Alvin. We are majorly owned by the Chinese government. Welcome to the podcast. You know what I'm saying? That's why the flag's red.
It's a red flag.